Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of BTTH Rebirth of Emperor Yang episode number 58 based on novel. So let's start. The fierce and overbearing soul power raged in Xiao Yang's body. The originally stable situation was suddenly reversed in a short moment. In Xiao Yang's knowledge of the sea, the soul bead violently rioted at the moment. The soul power that had been gathered together is now spreading wantonly. The majestic soul power spreads out uncontrollably, passes through Xiao Yang's body and quickly spreads in the spirit world. Xiao Yang could not help being caught off guard by this scene. Unexpectedly, just a little deviation occurred, and the soul beads would immediately riot. At present, if these soul forces continue to spread, his soul origin will be hurt unprecedentedly. In this regard, even Guyo is helpless. Although his strength is not weak, he is still helpless for what happened to Xiao Yang at the moment. When the surging soul power turned into a wave of terrible storm swept through the participating spirit world, the participating spirit people also quickly sensed the situation here, and they immediately focused their attention. But after they noticed the terrible pressure in the soul storm, except for a few of them, the others who were not strong enough to fight the emperor looked at the invisible storm sweeping over the top of countless ginseng trees. This seems to be the breath of the human boy named Rock Owl. What a powerful soul power. I'm afraid his strength has reached the level of fighting emperor. Go, what kind of human boy? Is that what we can call him? He killed Haimu alone. The so-called forerunner is a teacher. Don't always look at other people's apparent strength. Now, the whole Shenling family owes him a great favor. Many people have great respect for Master Yang Xiao. Dare you say that? If anyone hears about him, wouldn't you want him? Let's get together and beat you up. As soon as he said this, the Shenling people who had just spoken quickly closed their mouth and secretly looked around with lingering fear. They were relieved to find that no one had noticed him. At this time, the terrible soul storm also came to their heads with supreme authority. At the moment when the pressure came, the ground was supreme. All the Shenling people who did not reach the level of fighting emperor were flushed and overwhelmed to the ground. Except for a few people with strong soul power who could barely support their bodies, all that remained was the strong Shenling people who reached the level of fighting emperor. However, at the moment, even with their strength, in the face of the threat of the terrible soul, there was a deep dignified color on their face. They are not medicine refiners, and their soul power is not their strength. In the face of such terrible soul pressure, although they can't overwhelm them, they still feel dignified by the palpitation from the depths of their soul. When the soul storm swept through, Luo Laro and Luo Jin on the other side also looked at the place where Xiao Yang was. When Luo Jin felt the terrible pressure contained in the soul storm, even with his calm mind, he couldn't help setting off a storm at the moment. The pressure in the soul storm was so strong. Unexpectedly, only a few months after Xiao Yansai was promoted to the second-class herbalist, his soul power had grown to the late stage of the empire. If he continued at this speed, wouldn't his soul power be comparable to those old monsters of Dantar in a few years? After some shock in his heart, Luo Jin and Luo Laro looked at each other. Luo Laro also frowned slightly. What he cared about was not the strength of the soul storm, but that he clearly knew that Xiao Yang should be refining the source of the soul, but since he was refining, how could this happen? As long as it is not the soul with independent consciousness, there will be no danger in refining, which is known by every cultivator, and the origin of the soul has long been known under Luo Laro's exploration, and there is no other breath at all. But the current situation is obviously a riot in which the soul power is out of control. In that case, so what is Xiao Yang doing? After some thoughts in his heart, Luo Laro shook his head reluctantly. Before seeing Xiao Yang, he simply couldn't understand the actual situation with this violent soul power. He frowned. Luo Laro looked at Luo Jin with the same frown and said, "Alas. Let's go and have a look. I don't know what the little guy is doing." Luo Jin also nodded after hearing that. They moved their body shape. As soon as they read, they had swept up the top of the ginseng spirit tree crown, scattered the oncoming soul storm, and their body shape twinkled again. The next moment, Luo and the old two had come before Xiao Yang. Seeing Xiao Yang, Luo Laro immediately felt the violent soul power in Xiao Yang's body. Suddenly, Luo Laro and Luo Jin both had a slightly frozen look in their eyes, and a look of extreme surprise appeared on their faces. Is this boy crazy? Just after his soul power reached the empire, he dared to gather soul beads. He dared to do such things. I really don't know what to say about you. Frown and look at Xiao Yang with disordered breath in front of him. Luo Laro's face shows a little worried, but his mouth is a soft scolding way. Luo Jin smelled the speech and had to sigh helplessly. He was also a little shocked by Xiao Yang's move. He even forcibly condensed the soul beads with the soul power in the later stage of the empire. Even if there is a chance of success, how high can it be? The failure at the moment not only confirmed Ji Yu's judgment, but also hurt Xiao Yang's soul. This result should be a lesson Xiao Yang bought himself. The way of cultivation can only be gradual, and there can be no shortcut. Even if there is, it can only be 1,000 losses and 800 losses. After all, there is no benefit. The fastest and most stable way to become stronger is down to earth, step by step. Practice so, life is also so. When all the soul power in Xiao Yang's body overflowed and spread, Xiao Yang's face became miserable and bloodless. The whole person seemed to have really lost his soul, and his body lost more than a circle. This failure caused unprecedented damage to Xiao Yang's soul power. Although Ji Yu also tried to help him stabilize the situation in his body during this period, RAO is so. Xiao Yang can't do anything at the moment except taking a little hard action. The lack of soul power in the sea makes Xiao Yang faint. At the moment, he can only stand up tenaciously with his willpower. For a long time in the future, Xiao Yang is afraid that it is difficult to recover. That is to say, even the empty thunder pool and his party after those 2 months can only choose to give up. Difficult to stand up, Xiao Yang almost closed his eyes and looked around slightly vaguely. The weakness of his soul made Xiao Yang almost unaware of the two standing beside him. Looking through the gap between them, Xiao Yang noticed that on the endless forest sea in the distance, the soul storm that has not dispersed is like an invisible foot-on, sweeping towards the 4 directions on the crown of the endless ginseng tree. On the hillside, Luo Jin supported Xiao Yang, who got up slowly with both hands. His eyes changed constantly, his lips wriggled slightly and wanted to say something. However, looking at Xiao Yang, who was already very weak in front of him, he was silent after all. He looked at Luo Laro on the side. The latter also sighed softly and shook his head reluctantly, indicating that there was nothing he could do about it. The turbid old eyes slowly lifted up and connected with Luo Jin's 4 eyes. Both of them felt a burst of regret. According to Xiao Yang's state at the moment, I'm afraid they will miss him 2 months later. Alas! This boy is usually quite rigorous in his work. I didn't expect to be so impulsive today. I hope this will help you in the future, he sighed again. Luo Laro nodded to Luo Jin and walked in the direction of the cabin. After that, Luo Jin carefully supported Xiao Yang and moved slightly to keep up with the former. However, just as Luo Jin took half a step forward, his slightly forward-leaning body was suddenly pulled by something from behind. Then, immediately after the next moment, Luo Jinmu looked back in surprise. His eyes instantly looked at Xiao Yang standing still on his side, and his eyes were full of surprise. But then, the look on Luo Jin's face was a little stunned. At a glance, Xiao Yang, who was very weak at the previous moment, stared at the forest sea in the distance. To be exact, it should be a huge wave like a magnificent ruler and orn. At this moment, in Xiao Yang's eyes, everything between heaven and earth seemed to disappear from his eyes, even the sound of the breeze blowing in his ears. Xiao Yang's body was almost frozen in place. At this moment, Luo Jin felt that Xiao Yang's body was as hard as steel. Even the clothes on his body surface were firm. It seems that he thought of something. Luo Jin's pupils suddenly contracted, his eyes suddenly opened like 2 copper bells, and he couldn't help crying out in his mouth. But just as Luo Jin's voice was blurting out, Luo Laro behind him pressed on his shoulder and stopped the words he wanted to export. When his body shook, Luo Jin turned and looked. At the same time, Luo Laro also shook his head slightly towards Luo Jin and made a silent gesture. Luo Jin nodded quickly. The 2 men carefully withdrew from Xiao Yang's body, hundreds of feet away. Luo Laro relaxed. The turbid old eyes looked at Luo Jin on one side, and the 2 people laughed at Xiao Yang at the same time. Oh, this boy is really lucky. I thought he would be delayed by this failure for a while. Unexpectedly, it was a blessing in disguise. He even entered the artistic conception. Hey, this state, but it can't be expected. I thought I had good luck once when I was young. The benefits I got from it are unspeakable. When Luo Jin heard this, he also smiled and nodded. Obviously, as a younger generation, he knew Luo Laro's deeds, and just because Luo Laro had entered the artistic conception state, he used it as his capital to show off. When Luo Jin looked at Xiao Yang, although there was no big change on his face, in his heart, but there is still some unspeakable envy. Looking at Xiao Yang again, although his breath is still very weak, at the moment, his eyes are full of light. Waves on the endless forest sea gradually spread under Xiao Yang's gaze and swept away towards the further mountains and forests. Wave after wave, when the first wave of tree wave swept through the whole mountain forest, then another wave of tree wave swept again. Xiao Yang stared at the scene in front of her eyes, but her body was depressed, but it gradually climbed at the moment. 100 feet away, Luo Laro and Luo Jin noticed the changes in Xiao Yang's body, and they couldn't help but show an amazing smile on their faces. The tree waves carry a mass of leaves, stretching away from the top of the forest sea. The tangible leaves are constantly churning in the invisible soul waves. Although it seems chaotic, if you carefully observe it, you can find that those leaves have always maintained a special rhythm in the process of churning, and it also makes the following wave of tree waves perfectly fit with it. After repeated, in just a moment, there is a huge tree wave like a city wall over the forest sea. In the process, the tree waves are constantly absorbing the leaves falling from the treetops, making it more powerful. With the sweeping of the tree wave, in Xiao Yang's mind, he repeatedly recalled every change and track of the tree wave again and again. The churning law of leaves, the different but the same track of the two tree waves, and every detail of the fusion of the two tree waves, repeated repeatedly in Xiao Yang's mind. At the same time, Xiao Yang's breath also rose rapidly. After 3 hours, Xiao Yang still stood still. Although there was no action, at a glance, we can find that Xiao Yang's original pale face has regained its ruddy luster. His breath is a little more than when he first entered the spirit world, and the dissipated soul power, unexpectedly, he completely recovered his peak in just 3 hours, but even so, Xiao Yang still maintained the posture when he just stood up, all his mind closed in his body, and repeatedly recalled the scene of the tree wave sweeping over the forest sea in his mind. At this moment, in Xiao Yang's mind, Xiao Yang, whose soul is illusory, carefully observes every detail swept by the tree waves and out of date. As soon as his palm is called, a mysterious heavy ruler condensed by the power of his soul becomes apparent. The body of the giant ruler tilted slightly and swept slowly over the place where the tree wave passed. Xiao Yang also tried his best to cooperate with the track of the tree wave. The palm twisted slightly, and the power contained in the fingertip changed accordingly, until the speed, tilt angle and power of the heavy ruler when crossing the track were completely integrated. Xiao Yang slowly took back the giant ruler in his hand. At the same time, Xiao Yang, who stood still outside, suddenly looked up. With a wave of his right hand, the broad black giant ruler suddenly flew out. He held it in the palm of his hand, and his left foot suddenly took a half step forward. After the giant ruler circled in the palm of his hand, the strength in the palm of his hand emerged. The giant ruler was instantly fixed in the void, and the inclination angle was the same as that when he just imitated. Drink. Without hesitation, Xiao Yang drank fiercely in his heart. The fighting spirit in the cyclone in Xiao Yang's body suddenly and madly gushed out. The right palm held the giant ruler tightly, and the right leg exerted force, which spread to his arm. The soles of his feet stepped on the ground fiercely. Xiao Yang's body rose in the air, and the giant ruler in his hand was also waved with one foot. With one foot, a magnificent ruler orn as high as 10,000 feet suddenly burst out from the edge of the ruler and shot away towards the opposite of Xiao Yang. At this time, Luo's grandparents and grandchildren on the other side suddenly changed their complexion, because the Kaimang was impartial and just flew towards them. Ling Lai's Kaimang shot out with the magnificent momentum of cutting off the sky. Everywhere he passed, the flat void was instantly torn apart by the strong wind attached to it. The strong breath shocked even Luo Laro and his two people who were facing at the moment. Such terrible power seems to have transcended the scope of ordinary fighting skills. Moreover, it can be fully displayed by a semi-emperor strong man and carry such terrible power. Xiao Yang's foot is afraid to be comparable to a recruitment-level fighting skill. With this in mind, Luo Laro was shocked. It was only a few hours after entering the country, and he created such a terrible fighting skill. It's hard to imagine what a terrible scene it would be if Xiao Yang entered the country for a longer time. At the moment, Luo Jin's eyes were fixed on the magnificent Kai Mang flying towards him. A fiery fighting spirit burst out in the depths of his pupils, and the fighting spirit in his body was quickly mentioned at the moment. To tell the truth, although Luo Jin still knows Xiao Yang's strength, he has never had a chance to duel because of their own affairs. Therefore, this magnificent Kai Mang has aroused the hot fighting spirit that Luo Jin has been looking forward to in his heart. Luo Jin's eyesight can naturally see that the power contained in this ruler and orn at the moment is no less than a human-level fighting skill, which makes him excited. As soon as the palm turned over, the light in the palm suddenly appeared, and the moist white brush jade fan appeared. As soon as Luo Jin's palm swung, the brush jade fan shuddered and stretched out. Then he looked at the magnificent ruler that came face to face, and Luo Jin wanted to hand. However, just when his internal fighting spirit had just moved, Luo Jin's face was suddenly solidified for the scene in front of him. He clearly saw that there was a red fuzzy figure looming in the ruler Mang. The figure held a huge ruler high on the top and was always ready to explode a more terrible destructive power at the moment of collision with Luo Jin. This is. Seeing this scene, Luo Jin's heart was shocked. The shock in his heart was self-evident. He could not imagine that this magnificent Kai Mang was more terrible than what he saw and thought. I thought this Kai Mang was just as powerful as human fighting skills, but looking at the vague figure, it was clearly the performance of fighting skills and spirit. Fighting skill turns spirit. The real human-level fighting skill will double its power just by this point. With this in mind, Luo Jin couldn't help thinking of the terrible fire lotus that Xiao Yang showed at the beginning, plus the one in front of him. It's hard to imagine that Xiao Yang, who is only a 3-star semi-emperor, has created 2 sets of human-level fighting skills. This son will be extraordinary in the future. Luo Laro on one side finally found the particularity of that Kai Mang. While his heart was shocked, he couldn't help but praise Xiao Yang again. Haha, okay, fighting skills turn into spirit. In that case, I'll go all out. Although he was very surprised at Xiao Yang's foot, Luo Jin laughed after all. The jade fan in his hand waved suddenly, and the fighting spirit in his body rushed out quickly and poured into the jade fan in his hand. With the pouring of fighting spirit, mysterious cyan runes gradually emerged on the originally flat fan leaves, which made the jade fan reveal an extremely mysterious feeling at the moment. Painting by the breeze is tangible and tangible. Take the wind as the blade and cut by the breeze. As soon as the tiger body shook, Luo Jin's right arm slowly lifted up, and the faint blue fighting spirit drifted away with the swing of the jade fan. Then the next moment, when the magnificent foot-on hit, Luo Jin suddenly burst out a sharp light in his eyes, and a shocking drink came out of his mouth. His right arm waved suddenly, his wrist tilted slightly, and the fierce wind howled. The jade fan crossed the void, a long blue rainbow, which also spans the world, swept out and attacked the ruler and Mang in the front. Ha, my Qingfeng chop is also the peak of human-level fighting skills. It can be regarded as one of my big cards. Today let me see whether brother Yang Xiao is stronger or my Qingfeng chop is better. Since Xiao Yang has made a move, Luo Jin also knows that Xiao Yang must have returned to Qingming, then the next step is the real duel between him and Xiao Yang. Boom. The 2 fighting skills are indeed the pinnacle of human-level fighting skills. As soon as they are contacted, the fear and fighting spirit contained in them will suddenly sweep away. The collision of the 2 destructive forces will smash the void within 100 miles around in an instant. If they can't be stopped forcibly, the whole spiritual world will be affected. Seeing this, Luo Jin also changed slightly. He was bent on fighting, but he forgot that he was in the spirit world. Once those storms swept away, he was afraid that he would lose a lot to the spirit world. Don't worry about it. I'll leave these things to you. You don't have to disturb other Shenling people for a small fight among your younger generations. At this time, the voice of Luo Ao's light smile came faintly. At the same time, with a wave of his big sleeve, an invisible threat swept quickly, and when the fighting storm swept, he forcibly stopped it. In Luo Ao's realm, he was so powerful only by coercion that he could forcibly intercept and fight with coercion. Xiao Yang was shocked. I don't know if he can play between his fingers and solidify the world when he reaches that realm. Luo Ao shot, the storm naturally couldn't spread again, and the void where Xiao Yang 2 people were also completely became their dual platform. In a moment, many Shenling people flew up to watch the war. When the first Kai Mang dispersed, Luo Jin's Qingfeng cut was also digested. The 2 were equal in this first move. Haha, it's worthy of being a fighting skill learned in China. Such power is really extraordinary. It's a pity that I've practiced Qingfeng chop to the point of perfection, otherwise it's really unmatched. At this moment, the difference between the self-created fighting skills and the obtained fighting skills can be displayed. Although Xiao Yang also depends on his artistic conception, he can exert the power of this foot to the greatest extent, but only for the first time, he can be as high as Luo Jin's Qingfeng chop, which has reached the level of perfection. This is indeed some visible advantages. If Xiao Yang cultivates this foot in the future, Luo Jin will be no longer an enemy. In the face of the power displayed by this foot, Xiao Yang was also surprised, but in his frown, Xiao Yang's eyes twinkled slightly. Because, after that foot, he can obviously feel that there are still continuous moves. However, because that foot was just an experiment, Xiao Yang didn't exert all his moves. He just didn't know what the power would be if he continued to move after that foot. Haha, what is brother Yang Xiao thinking? You can't be distracted when fighting. Aware of the look in Xiao Yang's eyes, Luo Jin laughed and pulled Xiao Yang, who was considering whether to try a series of moves, back to reality. Xiao Yang also smiled heartily when he heard the speech. He knew that Luo Jin in front of him would never leave him any hands today. In that case, he could have the courage to try his best, and just see what great benefits Xiao Yang had brought to entering the artistic conception this time. Haha, well, in that case, brother Luo Jin, just put his horse here. I also want to see how powerful this fighting skill I just realized can be. Facing Luo Jin's reminder, Xiao Yang also laughed heartily. As soon as his wrist turned, the powerful black giant ruler rotated flexibly in Xiao Yang's palm like a long gun. Finally, Xiao Yang put a little force on his palm and easily inserted the giant ruler into the crack on one side of the ground. Looking at this, it also looks like a kind of demonstration. However, Luo Jin is more and more excited about it. At the same time, he doesn't dare to be careless. From the foot of Xiao Yang just now, if he doesn't come up with really strong means, he can't win Xiao Yang in fighting skills. In that case, haha, brother Yang Xiao, I'm coming. With a laugh, Luo Jin's eyes suddenly burst out a startling fighting light column, shooting at Xiao Yang. In this regard, Xiao Yang also laughed boldly again, stepped back half a step, closed his right hand at his waist and spread his palm flat. The fighting spirit like fire surged out and covered the surface of his palm. Yellow spring palm. His eyes were fixed on the fighting light column, and the power in Xiao Yang's palm was more and more concentrated. At the moment when the fighting light column hit, his strong body suddenly rioted and greeted the light column with a palm. Bang! But the next moment, Xiao Yang's eyes could not help but condense. The powerful fighting light column was destroyed and broken in an instant under the palm of his yellow spring. This seemingly aggressive light column is just a cover. Haha, brother Yang Xiao, it's here. At the moment when Xiao Yang paused, Luo Jin's laughter came from one side of Xiao Yang's body. Listening to the voice, Luo Jin was also quite satisfied with his skill. Without hesitation, Luo Jin threw out his voice at the same time, and flashed his palm at Xiao Yang. Although he was surprised in his heart, Xiao Yang was also a man who had been on the battlefield for a long time. He was not afraid at all. His body suddenly shook. All the strength of his body gathered on the left shoulder near Luo Jin. His fighting spirit surged wildly. With a low cry in his heart, he greeted Luo Jin with his left shoulder. 8-pole collapse. As the first volume of Xiao Yang's mysterious level fighting skills, Baji Avalanche is superior to others, although its rank is not high. After so many years of cultivation, Xiao Yang is more skilled in controlling Baji Avalanche. Now Xiao Yang can display Baji Avalanche again. As long as he is willing, every part of his body can display Baji Avalanche at will. With Xiao Yang's strength now, he once again exerts the power of the 8-pole avalanche, which is absolutely no less than the heaven-level fighting skill. At the beginning, Yaro Laro said to Xiao Yang that the 8-pole avalanche can be comparable to the earth-level fighting skill with the extreme cultivation of the 8-pole avalanche, but now, Xiao Yang has crushed the 8-pole avalanche with his absolute strength, making the 8-pole avalanche successfully enter a new level. It can't be said that under the repeated immersion of Xiao Yang, maybe at some time, Xiao Yang can improve the 8-pole collapse in his hand again, and enter the real earth level and even heaven level, and his fighting skills are not necessarily. Boom. When the two touch each other, Xiao Yang's clothes are as hard as steel. Luo Jin also looks at Xiao Yang in front of him with a surprised face. When can his shoulders be used to show his fighting skills? Also surprised in my heart are those Shenling people who stand in the appearance war. These Shenling people who have reached the half-emperor or higher level are also surprised at Xiao Yang's behavior at the moment. As practitioners, they don't know that they can still use these parts of their body to show their fighting skills. It's incredible. Shoulders can release fighting skills. How can it be? That is to say, how can this be possible? It seems that this method of releasing fighting skills has never been heard in history. Shocked and unbelievable words spread around the periphery of this space. When those words came into Luo Laro's ears, the latter couldn't help laughing at the ignorance of those who spoke, the weakness of strength and the seclusion of race, so that they know less and less about the control of power. If they go on like this, the Shenling family will die out without waiting for outsiders to destroy the Shenling family. Fighting skill is just a way to release the strength of the cultivator. The reason why most cultivators inject their fighting chi or source chi into their limbs and even weapons is that they are used to that kind of fighting method, but fighting skill is only fighting skill after all. It doesn't matter where people can release it if they want. What matters is that the performer is right, the mastery of fighting skills. After a sneer, Luo Laro's explanation immediately shut the unbelievable Shenling people. Here, in addition to the patriarch Aoki, Luo Laro is the most authoritative person. His words are beyond doubt, which is also Aoki's instructions. After a few minutes of stalemate between the two equally powerful fighting skills, Xiao Yang's black clothes, which became like steel, first cracked a crack-like explosion. In contrast, Luo Jin's fighting skills are indeed better. No wonder it will be like this. When Luo Jin saw this, he couldn't help smiling at the corners of his mouth, but when he looked at Xiao Yang opposite, he found that Xiao Yang was also looking at him with a smile. Luo Jin was stunned, and he felt something wrong. But when he looked at it, Xiao Yang suddenly gave a violent drink from Lingtian, and the tiger body suddenly shook. The fierce force shook Luo Jin back a few steps. At the same time, Xiao Yang burst out. 8-pole avalanche. Explosion. With a fierce drink, Luo Jin's face changed instantly. Under the ingenious control of Xiao Yang, the 8-fold dark strength of the 8-pole collapse made him fail to find it in time. At the moment, the dark strength has entered the body. If you break it again, I'm afraid you'll be in a hurry again. When Luo Jin was busy breaking the 8 dark strength in his body, Xiao Yang laughed and waved the black dark heavy ruler on one side impolitely. While Luo Jin broke the dark strength in his body, he slapped Luo Jin with a huge ruler. The faces of all the Shenling people outside the court also showed a sour expression, staring at the huge ruler in Xiao Yang's hand. If Xiao Yanruo attached this foot to his fighting skills, the power of the explosion was naturally enough to hurt Luo Jin, but Xiao Yang did so only for pleasure. He simply used brute force to shoot Luo Jin. The latter's flesh will not suffer any fatal damage. At most, he can only eat some flesh. Brother Luo Jin? Huh? Just got rid of the terrible dark force in Luo Jin's body. Luo Jin hasn't regained his mind, but Xiao Yang's light smile came, which also made Luo Jin's conditioned reflex look up. But at this time, Xiao Yang was wearing a bad smile, and the terrible black giant ruler was also facing Luo Jin's beautiful and handsome face. His back was cold. At this moment, Luo Jin suddenly recovered, but it was too late. Ah! It's over. Seeing the moment of the black giant ruler, Luo Jin knew that he could not avoid the helpless way in his heart. With a bang, under the common gaze of everyone, Luo Jin's body drew a parabola in the void like a football, and then fell on the top of a mountain and was deeply embedded in it. Xiao Yang took a half-step backward with his right foot, and the void under his feet collapsed instantaneously. Then his wrist turned, and the Xian heavy ruler stood obliquely behind him. His bright eyes closed slowly and gathered his mind at the moment. Xiao Yang tried to think about the set of fighting skills he had learned in the state of artistic conception. He wanted to go all out to show it again before the artistic conception had completely dispersed. This time, he wants to show all the moves after that one foot. By the way, he also has a look at the power of the fighting skill he has just realized by relying on the artistic conception. Drink. You guy, how can you fight in the face when you have agreed to fight? With a violent drink, Luo Jin flew out of the pile of broken stones. In addition to looking a little embarrassed, Luo Jin didn't suffer any substantive damage, so as soon as he came out, he couldn't help shouting angrily at Xiao Yang's nose. At the moment, Xiao Yang was completely immersed in his mind. Only the soul power diffused in the whole space, and the breath on the Shenchong ruler gradually increased. The mysterious runes on the black giant ruler were also filled with red fighting spirit like flame, and a violent destructive force was slowly condensing in the giant ruler. Seeing this scene, Luo Jin immediately put down his joking mind. Xiao Yang's appearance at the moment seems to want to show his previous fighting skills. For the first time, Xiao Yang was only limited to a few breaths. He was in a hurry in feeling and reason. At the moment, Xiao Yang was immersed in it. If he tried his best again, his power would be more terrible than before. In this way, Luo Jin has no spare time to imagine the strength of the fighting skills. It always takes a certain time to display the human-level fighting skills. So does Xiao Yang and Luo Jin. Since the previous foot can be offset by his Qingfeng chop, it should be so this time. In the face of Xiao Yang's upcoming fighting skills, Luo Jin had his first experience. After all, only strange things can make people feel uncertain. With a move of the palm, the jade fan is revealed, and the familiar scene is displayed again. All the Shenling clansmen outside the court also looked at the two people in the field with all kinds of eyes. For the strong fighting emperor, Xiao Yan and Luo Jin in the field can be called the dragon of people. They not only have extraordinary strength and fighting skills, but also covet them. In the silence, Xiao Yang, who has been silent in the field, suddenly looked up. At the moment when his eyes opened, the bright essence came out, which makes people unable to look directly at it. At the same time, Xiao Yang held a huge ruler in one hand and stepped back with his right leg slightly bent. He recalled the appearance of the tree waves sweeping over the forest sea at that time. Drink! With a fierce drink like thunder, Xiao Yang's body suddenly burst out. At the same time, the huge ruler in his hand swept through the void in front of him, and a magnificent ruler horn suddenly burst out from the front of the ruler, forcibly tore up the surrounding void, and blasted away at Luo Jin with an unparalleled momentum of terror. Luo Jin could not help feeling dignified when he felt the more terrible power on the Kaimang than before. Sure enough, under Xiao Yang's full strength, the power of this fighting skill has increased to a higher level. If he can't give full play to the power of Qingfeng Chop, Luo Jin is afraid to suffer a lot in the face of this Kaimang. With all his strength, Luo Jin also completely let go and madly injected his fighting spirit into the jade fan in his hand. The blue fighting light lit up a dark void, and Luo Jin's body surface was also covered with a blue light. Ha, come on, brother Yang Xiao, let me see. What's the horror of your fighting skill with the help of artistic conception under your full strength? The voice fell. Luo Jin suddenly gave a violent drink in his mouth, waved his palm, and the closed jade fan spread out with a shua, with blue light everywhere. The painting is made by the breeze. It is tangible and takes the wind as the blade. The breeze cuts it. Li shouted. The jade fan, which had been completely wrapped by the blue light, immediately crossed the void and brought a sharp sound of breaking the wind. A blue light suddenly formed, rose to meet the storm and roared up at the magnificent foot and oncoming. The two touch each other, and the previous scene is staged again. Luo Jin can't help feeling a burst of relief when he looks at the two mutually consumed energy in the field, but he doesn't wait for Luo Jin to be happy. Xiao Yang on the other side once again burst out a startling cry in his mouth and waved the giant ruler in his hand again. Hiss! At this moment, not only Luo Jin, but also many semi-emperors and even the strong fighting emperors outside the field, even Nero Lao, looked at this scene in the field with surprise in their eyes. In just a few minutes, Xiao Yang showed that set of ruler fighting skills again. Yes, as Xiao Yang's giant ruler swept through the void, another momentum did not lose the former's magnificent ruler and horn, and immediately caught up with the former and integrated with the first ruler and horn. Buzzing. The red fighting spirit like fire rendered a large void. The 10,000 feet and horns suddenly shone, and its momentum also rose with the water. In a few moments, it suppressed the power of the breeze. Seeing this scene, the faces of the people outside the field changed again. It's only enough to continuously display the two Taoist-level fighting skills. How can this fighting skill still be integrated? Luo Lao's eyesight is naturally comparable to that of human beings. When he saw that Kai Mang, he already had his own judgment in his heart. At this moment, he saw that the later Kai Mang was perfectly integrated with the former. He suddenly understood that Xiao Yang's fighting skill was not just a single foot, but a follow-up move, one foot after another, wave after wave, and finally superimposed. I'm afraid it will be more terrible than he imagined. Luo Jin is really too careless this time. Xiao Yang's fighting skills are really difficult to deal with. At the moment, what he can expect is that the fighting skills can only last 1 foot. In that case, it is not impossible for Luo Jin to take over. Otherwise, I'm afraid he will not only exhaust all his means, but also consume a lot of his fighting spirit. Boom! Luo Jin didn't have much time. Just for a moment, the breeze was smashed by the still powerful Kai Mang under the tenacious resistance. When Luo Jin saw this, he was slightly surprised. With one hand, he closed the jade fan into the ring. The formula printed in his palm changed rapidly. The fighting spirit in his body poured into his palm almost madly. When the foot-horn hit, Luo Jin's palm was also shining brightly. The power of Luo Jin's hand is not weaker than that of Qingfeng Chop. Moreover, if you carefully explore it, this move may be even better than that of Qingfeng Chop. This is one of Luo Jin's many cards. Whenever he plays, he will go all the way. He believes that if he plays today, he will not let him down. Drink! One palm burst out, and a crystal-like blue palm fell off Luo Jin's hand and blasted towards the magnificent ruler. The crystal palm flew in the void, but the originally silent world around it suddenly blew a hunting hurricane. The crystal palm rose against the hurricane and the storm. Before the foot on, the crystal palm was already very tall. Boom. This time, the two touched each other, and the violent collision sound suddenly spread between the heaven and the earth. The harsh sound explosion sounded like setting off firecrackers. If it weren't for Luo Laro's border, the Shenling people outside the field would be affected. The crystal palm was indeed one of Luo Jin's cards. For a time, it really competed with that Kai Mang, and the enemy was tied. Drink. It was another violent drink. Luo Jin was violently shaken by the sound to the corner of his eyes. He was really afraid of what to do. Just now he was glad that this move was only 1 foot, which surprised him. This monster. At the same time, Luo Jin spat and scolded with a bitter smile, but he didn't dare to be careless in his heart. Human-level fighting skills are extraordinary. Even he can't show them many times. Luo Jin only hopes that Xiao Yang can stop when he sees the good. After all, even if it's a continuous move, the consumption of fighting spirit is also an extremely terrible amount. Xiao Yang has no reason to spend so much for a temporary victory or defeat. Drink. Hiss. 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 4-5 feet in a row, Xiao Yang finally stopped pale. He didn't want to stop. Xiao Yang wanted to know where the end of the ruler method was, but after the 7th foot, Xiao Yang couldn't wave it. Because by this time, Xiao Yang's fighting spirit has been exhausted. It is obviously impossible to swing another 8th foot. Moreover, Xiao Yang was also vaguely aware that even if he had enough fighting spirit, he was afraid he could not swing the 8th foot. After the 7th foot, Xiao Yang suddenly forgot how to swing and cut the giant foot in an instant. That strange feeling also disappeared from Xiao Yang. The artistic conception completely dispersed, and Xiao Yang finally noticed a different meaning. After the 7th foot, there seemed to be a barrier. It was for that reason that Xiao Yang could not continue to understand the 8th foot. So, this ruler method can only swing 7 feet at most. Xiao Yang thought in the bottom of his heart that Guyo didn't answer. All the results can only be confirmed by Xiao Yang himself. On the other hand, Luo Jin has completely given up the last resistance in the face of the 5 Kai Mans that have been integrated again. With the integration of 7 Kai Mans in a row, this set of fighting skills is already the highest in the human-level fighting skills. If he achieves great success, he may be comparable to the spirit-level fighting skills. In the face of this level of terrorist fighting skills, even if Luo Jin offers all his cards, it is difficult to resist. Therefore, instead of making meaningless resistance, it is better to hand over this mess to the powerful Luo Laro. Noticing Luo Jin's eyes, Luo Laro also smiled helplessly. He knew the strength of the Kai method in his heart and didn't joke much. His body flashed in front of Luo Jin. Facing the terrible Kai Mang that had broken the crystal palm, Luo Laro's eyes flashed a look of appreciation. I'm afraid the strength of the Kai method is far from the human-level fighting skill. Xiao Yanruo practiced it well. In the future, it will become a big card for Xiao Yang. Luo Laro raised his palm and aimed it at the magnificent ruler. A strong domineering spirit spread quietly, making those Shenling people look in awe. When the Kai Mang approached Luo Laro raised his eyes calmly. In the face of the terrible fighting skills that could sweep any semi-emperor strong under the 9 stars, Luo Laro put on an indifferent attitude. Fighting spirit is something he practiced in his early years. Speaking of it, it is indeed a long distance from him now. Fixed. A very plain word ding seems to dominate the world. At this moment, it seems that time solidifies with it. Even the fighting spirit flowing in all the human bodies present has been settled with it. Naturally, that foot is no exception. Luo Laro's palm swung gently, and the fierce Kai Mang, which had become extremely violent, immediately hid its violent breath, turned into red streamers and condensed into a ball. Then Luo Laro's palm waved gently, and the pure Kai light seemed to find its master. In a flash, it swept into the cyclone in Xiao Yang's body, Xiao Yang's face. It also turns quickly at this moment. This seemingly simple scene shocked everyone present. Xiao Yang was shocked by Luo Laro's hand for a long time. Luo Jin looked at the scattered Kai Mang, and the tension in his heart also dispersed. Hihi, you're lucky. You've been blessed by misfortune. You've learned such extraordinary fighting skills. Use them well. You'll be a big card in the future. He restored the dark void as it was. Luo moved and came to Xiao Yang and smiled at Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang nodded. For this, he was sure that this set of ruler method understood today would add another firewood to Xiao Yang's overall strength in the future. Ha, yes, Brother Yang Xiao's fighting skills are invincible in the whole human-level fighting skills. If my weapons were not huge, I would be curious. Luo Jin also came forward with the same admiration in his tone. He was the first to feel the power of this set of ruler fighting skills, and no one can replace his judgment. Haha, Rock Owl Boy, I see that your ruler method has been completed and its power is quite good. Since it is so, it is also a human-level fighting skill, so you should give it a name. Xiao Yan nodded and understood in his heart that this fighting skill was created by him when he entered the country. He once chopped the void and the sky with 1 foot. Its power was called breaking the sky. It was divided into 7 feet. Xiao Yang immediately had a name in his heart. Hihi, I've thought about it. Since this ruler method is divided into 7 feet, then it's called 7 heavy breaking sky ruler. This video will end here.